Let me take you back. Not just to a ballpark, not just to a stadium box seat, not even to a specific page in history. Let me take you back to your living room. The one where you first learned that sports weren't just games. They were stories. Stories with heroes and villains, legends and myths, heartbreak and triumph. Stories that, if you listen closely enough, told you something about who we are. My name is Brian Smith, and for 60 years I've been studying, watching, absorbing, and, let's be honest, obsessing over sports. I've seen enough games to fill a library and enough heartbreaks to fill a therapy session. But today, on The Story Behind the Story, I'm going to do something bold. I'm going to crown the greatest all-star game in sports history. And trust me, this was not easy. Because when you start digging into all-star lore, you find yourself knee-deep in myths, memories, and magic. Before I get to the final two, let's take a scenic tour through some of the greatest all-star performances ever recorded. Moments so iconic they almost hijacked this entire episode. The 1968 NBA All-Star Game, one of the greatest NBA All-Star games in NBA history, with the most Hall of Fame players played on January 21st, 1968 in New York City. It featured an astonishing 16 future Hall of Famers on the two rosters. This showcase featured nearly every basketball legend of the decade. The East team had Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson, Hal Greer, Willis Reed, John Havlicek, Sam Jones, Dave Bing. The West had Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Lenny Wilkens, Jerry Lucas, Walt Bellamy, Dave DeBusschere, and Chet Walker. The result, the East defeated the West 144 to 124. It was a unique event where legendary rivals Chamberlain and Russell occasionally shared the court as teammates. Next is the 1992 NBA All-Star Game. Magic Johnson, newly retired after announcing he had HIV, walks onto the court in Orlando like a man stepping into his own legend. He dropped 25 points, wins the MVP, and shares emotional embraces with rivals who, for one night, weren't rivals at all. It wasn't a game. It was a ceremonial farewell to Magic Johnson. Wayne Gretzky's 1984 NHL All-Star Game. 4 goals in one period. In Edmonton, the great one putting on a show for the ages. If hockey had a Mount Rushmore of all-star moments, this one would be carved in granite. The secret 1992 Dream Team scrimmage. Before the 1992 Olympics, the USA Men's Dream Team played a closed-door practice scrimmage against a select squad of top college basketball stars. The college team included future stars like Grant Hill, Chris Webber, Penny Hardaway, and Allen Houston. Head coach Chuck Daly organized this game in Monte Carlo to humble the NBA legends and force them to play together. The college team briefly held the lead. The scrimmage was famously so competitive that Michael Jordan later called it the best game I was ever in, because it was pure basketball with no cameras. The result? The Dream Team pulled away to win the match comfortably, proving their dominance, before blowing through the Olympic tournament in Barcelona. Carl Hubbell's 1934 Strikeout Symphony. New York Giants pitcher Carl Hubbell struck out 5 Hall of Famers in a row. He fanned Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, one after another, like a baseball version of Mount Olympus collapsing. Pete Rose versus Ray Fosse, 1970. The collision heard round the world. An all-star game ending with a home plate demolition derby. Only Pete Rose could turn an exhibition into a demolition, and I watched every inning. The 1999 MLB All-Star Game at Fenway Park. The pregame ceremony included introducing the greatest living players. 20 Hall of Fame players were introduced on the field during the 1999 MLB All-Star Game. The pregame ceremony held at iconic Fenway Park also included legendary Boston Red Sox legend Ted Williams, introduced as the guest of honor. The 20 Hall of Fame players were honored as part of the All-Century team and included baseball greats such as Hank Aaron, Johnny Bench, Willie Mays, and Pete Rose. The total number of Hall of Famers present on the field reached 22 when the managers for the game, Earl Weaver and Sparky Anderson, were introduced. Out of the dozens of active players who participated in the 1999 MLB All-Star Game, 19 later received their plaques in Cooperstown. That made 41 total Hall of Fame players and coaches present at that 1999 All-Star Game. Red Sox star Pedro Martinez then took the mound and struck out the first 4 batters of the game. 20 Hall of Famers introduced, 41 total Hall of Famers present. Baseball royalty gathered in the Cathedral of Fenway. Now, you may have noticed that I left out pro football, the Pro Bowl. Well, the Pro Bowl really canceled itself out. I saw enough games to know when the effort was more to stay healthy and not worry about who would win the game. They might as well have put a skirt on the quarterbacks. There was better tackling and family touch football games than in the Pro Bowls. However, any of the All-Star games I have mentioned could have been called the greatest. But for me, and I didn't decide this lightly, it came down to 2 baseball games, 38 years apart. The finalists, 1933 versus 1971. Baseball invented the All-Star Game, literally. The first one ever played in any major sport was baseball's 1933 Midsummer Classic at Comiskey Park. And the other finalist, a game played the same day my youngest brother Kyle entered the world. 2 games, 2 eras, 2 historical giants. Let's explore them. The 1933 All-Star Game, the birth of a tradition. It's the Great Depression. America needed hope. Chicago was hosting the World's Fair, and a sports editor, yes, a sports editor named Arch Ward, dreams up a charity baseball game featuring the greatest players alive. He raises $45,000 for retired and struggling players. He creates a national event. He invents the Midsummer Classic. Not bad for a newspaper guy. July 6, 1933, 17 future Hall of Famers. Connie Mack managing the AL, John McGraw coming out of retirement to manage the NL. The American League wearing their home whites. The National League wearing special gray uniforms with National League stitched across the chest. The game, Lefty Gomez, a pitcher no less, drives in the first run in All-Star history. Then Babe Ruth, 38 years old, past his prime, but still the people's champion, launches the first All-Star Game home run ever hit. That is fitting. Later, he makes a running catch at the wall that brings the crowd to its feet. The American League wins 4-2. The country wins something bigger, a gift of the greatest players coming together for the ultimate exhibition. Commissioner Landis immediately declares it an annual tradition to be known as the Midsummer Classic. The 1933 game is the foundation, the blueprint, the original story. But is it the greatest? Let's hold that thought. Now let's travel to Detroit, Tiger Stadium, July 13, 1971. A stadium that had already witnessed history. Babe Ruth's 700th home run, Lou Gehrig's final game, the roars of Hank Greenberg slamming balls into the blue seats, Al Kaline patrolling right field like a general surveying his kingdom. And 1 year after this All-Star game, it would witness something else. Me and my brother Jap sitting in the box seats on a Hall of Fame day of our own, meeting the Detroit Tigers in the clubhouse, including Al Kaline himself. Tiger Stadium was not just a ballpark for me, it was a cathedral. The cast, 26 Hall of Famers: Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, Johnny Bench, Carl Yastrzemski, Reggie Jackson, Tom Seaver, Frank Robinson, Fergie Jenkins, Jim Palmer, Willie McCovey, Rod Carew, Lou Brock. I could go on and on and on. 26 Hall of Famers in uniform, 2 Hall of Fame managers, 2 Hall of Fame coaches, a Hall of Fame umpire. It was Cooperstown on grass. The broadcast, Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek, voices that could make a Little League game sound like the 7th game of the World Series.
My television partner, Tony Kubek, will be analyzing the game, and roaming the stands will be our man, Lindsey Nelson, bringing you between innings and half-innings reports. And here in the home ballpark of the American League,
game itself, 6 Hall of Famers hit home runs, but one of them was different. Reggie Jackson steps to the plate against Doc Ellis. Ellis throws a fastball that leaks over the plate. Reggie swings, and the ball takes off like it's trying to escape Earth's gravitational pull.
There's a long line. That one is going way up. It is off the roof. That hit the transformer up there.
It slams into the light tower on the roof of Tiger Stadium. Not the upper deck, not the facade, the light tower. Had it missed by a few feet, it might still be in orbit. Willie Mays at 40 legs out a triple. Roberto Clemente smashes a home run in his final All-Star appearance. Frank Robinson, Harmon Killebrew, and Johnny Bench also blast home runs. The American League wins 6-4, their first All-Star victory since 1962. And a 13-year-old me watches every inning, glued to the screen, not knowing that one day I tell this story into a microphone. Now, what do the experts say? Ask 100 historians what the greatest All-Star game ever played was, and you might get 20 different answers. Some would choose the 1933 baseball All-Star game because it created the entire concept. Some might choose the 1999 MLB All-Star game because of the sheer number of legends on the field. Some probably would choose 1970 All-Star Extra Inning Contests for the Rose-Fosse collision. Fans of the association would choose the NBA 1992 All-Star game for Magic's emotional return. Our friends north of the border would choose the NHL 1984 All-Star game for Gretzky's 4-goal explosion. But one consistently appears near the top of every list, because it wasn't just a game, it was a gathering of legends. So, after all my research, after all the decades, after all the debates, after revisiting the legends and the lore, after weighing history against spectacle, emotion against excellence, it came down to 2 baseball games, 1933 and 1971. One created the All-Star game, the other perfected it. And for me, the kid who watched every inning, for the older sibling who sat in box seats with his brother at Tiger Stadium a year later on a Hall of Fame day, for the historian who believes stadiums hold memories like libraries hold books. The greatest All-Star game ever played is the 1971 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. A Hall of Fame game on a Hall of Fame day in a Hall of Fame stadium. Broadcast by Hall of Fame voices featuring Hall of Fame players. And witnessed by a future podcast storyteller who didn't yet know he'd spent his life chasing the echoes of moments like this. And to top it off, it was also a Hall of Fame day in the history of my family as well. And that is the story behind the story of the greatest All-Star game ever played. I hope you found it as fascinating as I did. Sometimes sports are not just games. They're chapters of the great American story. They're the way we remember where we were, who we were with, and who we were becoming. They are the echoes of the past, waiting patiently for someone to listen. My name is Brian Smith. You, me, and the legends we carry with us, we are history.